it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator, Sylvan Soloway.
Thank you guys so much for coming. I'm going to introduce these lovely panelists to you. The first one right here is my friend, Christina Silva. She is the managing editor of the International Business Times. My colleague, Jay Rosen, who is from the NYU Journalism Institute, and he's an associate professor. Next, we're going to go to Ross Barkin, who is a contributing reporter at the Village Voice.
The meat of why we're here tonight, doing journalism in the age of Trump.
I think it's more important now than ever to be objective in journalism. You know, there's a lot of debate about that the president is a different kind of president and that this is a different kind of White House. But if you believe in American democracy and you believe in the power of the free press, keeping the government accountable for what they do, then I think that we need to remain in that traditional role the way we would want our government to remain in the traditional role laid out through the Constitution. And
looking at the evidence and trying to draw conclusions from evidence and being evidence-based or even evidence-obsessed, that's an idea of objectivity. I think that's really important. Trying to gain some critical distance from the way you think and the way you were brought up and your position in the world and understanding that other people don't have that experience. That's a kind of objectivity, and I'm totally down with that.
The tweets matter. The tweets are a story. I do caution about emphasizing that. He's going to send out a lot of tweets. Some of them possibly are to distract from other things or to muddy the waters. I mean, we've never seen a president, we've never had a president who used Twitter like this because Twitter is very new, but in general, we are in uncharted territory. Watch what he's doing. Watch the agencies, watch what's happening overseas, and keep your eye on the ball because that's what matters and that's really what affects most people.
You can fight fake news. When my family members or friends say something that I cannot believe they're saying that's so fantastical, I immediately send him like a PolitiFact article showing how that was fake news that was circulated widely. I'm sure that they don't love that I do that, but I feel like it's my personal duty that whenever anyone in my environment says something that's completely ridiculous, to shut it down. Because you hear something and then you just say it to a couple days later as fact, and that's kind of how fake news spreads, and that's how so many people in our communities are so misinformed.
Taking things that you hear a lot, like fake news and fact check and entertainment, you know, things that you might hear in normal conversation, and having a much more complex and nuanced grasp of what's actually involved in that. So, complicating your understanding of these issues, that's what I think university education should be about.
There's a difference between opinion and journalism, I think. So we have to be really clear with people when we're stating facts that they are facts and not just someone's opinion.
I take everything with a grain of salt because at the end of the day we do live in this capitalist society where it's about the clicks and the ad buys and this and that, and that sort of does get in the way of the truth at times, right? Or it tends to bolster facts that may not necessarily be the center of a story.
You need to read in depth, so you do need to read newspapers or magazine articles. You do need to read in depth. And you need to ask yourself, who owns the media that I'm reading? And make sure that I'm not always consuming the same media that is owned by the same ownership group. So I need to go to some different places. It's very difficult right now, and social media is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I love social media. I work in social media, but we also need to understand what it's doing to our reading habits and what it's doing to our thinking habits, and how can we wisely use social media to inform our voting.